I went blind when I was 15 years old. Doctors have never been able to diagnose my condition. My life changed drastically. I just try to keep it in my brain that this is just how it's going to be now. Generally, I normally just take 5 or 6 pills nightly. I have to label them differently, so each of them have their own different band on them, and that's how I can tell the difference. I think this is the way that I'm supposed to be. It's really shaped who I am. My bed corners are reinforced with pool noodles to keep me from knocking up my knees and my toes. My name is Jay. I'm 18 and I went blind when I was 15 years old. When I was younger, I kind of just lived in the hospital, basically. This is a coaster that my sister made for me. It says Soul Sister on it in Braille. In 2018, I was sick again for a couple of weeks. One day I was completely okay, and the next day I was like I was in the bathroom more than I was anywhere else.
She said something was wrong, and we didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
And then...
That's right, you said, oh, this time is really bad.
I said something's not right.
Something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went off to the ER, called the doctors.
And she was shaking and vomiting and couldn't stop vomiting, and then she was unconscious and vomiting.
I blacked out. When I was in the ER, they measured the pressures in my eyes. Generally, the pressures are supposed to be in between 12 and 22. Mine was at 84. They had to do a bedside surgery.
That day, we knew something was wrong. She started to swell again. Sorry.
See, I tried.
Once the eye doctor came into the room and took the measurement of her eye, he decided that we needed to release some of the pressure in both eyes. And him waiting for his partner to get there, he needed assistance. I am a surgical technologist, and I just said, hey, I can hold the clamp for you. I can do this. And he's like, okay, gotta get it done. I said, okay, let's get it done, just cut. Let's get it done.
The swelling got so bad that within 4 hours, I was completely blind. And so they removed the orbital bones from both of my eyes to reduce the swelling. And I woke up 3 days later, and I couldn't see. Especially after I went blind, nightmares got really difficult because normally after a nightmare you can wake up, but when I wake up from a night terror, I can still see my dream. And usually it takes a couple blinks and getting up and moving around to get it out of my, vision, I guess is a way to say it. Well, when I was in the hospital, they didn't know if it was going to be permanent. Never heard of anybody just not being able to see for a couple of days. They told me, and I freaked out for a little bit, and I just screamed, gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream. And then I was done. And I was like, okay, I'm over it. And I immediately started using it to my advantage. When I came home from the hospital, it was, did you do the dishes? No, I can't see, sorry. Yeah. Did you pick up your room? Can't, sorry, too blind. I started doing archery accidentally, actually. I was doing journalism and went to one of the archery practices at my school to take pictures. And the coach looked at me and was like, do you want to shoot? And I laughed at him. I eventually picked one up and was way better at it than I thought I was going to be. I did it for 4 years competitively, even after I went blind. So I take a lot of meds, daily, and especially if I'm in the middle of a swell, it's just a bunch. But generally, I normally just take 5 or 6 pills nightly. Yeah, I have to label them differently. So each of them have their own different band on them, and that's how I can tell the difference. So this is Lexapro, and is registered by that band. And then I have these, which is hydroxyzine, and I tell that by this band. So. Doctors have never been able to diagnose my condition. I respond to the medications that would normally treat hereditary angioedema, which is why it's so peculiar that I did not come back with that particular disease. I see it as something that happened for me, because if I spend the rest of my life feeling bad about what could have happened or what doctors could have done, then I'm not going to get anywhere. And it's exhausting, and I don't have time to worry about that. The whole thing about the other senses being super advanced is a myth, because I thought I was going to be Daredevil, and I was completely ready for that. I was ready to take on crime. But no, I just rely on my hearing and on my smell and taste a lot more. It obviously has changed a lot, because I've had to pay more attention to my surroundings and be able to remember where I put things. And I mean, I still just kind of toss my phone and my keys and stuff I can see and will be able to find it later. That's just a habit that I have yet to break. Other than that, I'm really organized. My confidence has improved. And I don't know if that's just because I can't see myself, which might be quite the contributor. I can't look at other people and tell if they're looking at me weird, or if they're lying to me when they say that I look nice. So I just kind of have to pretend in my brain that that's the way that it is, and that if I say I look good, then I do. And nobody can tell me otherwise, because who's gonna tell the blind girl that they're ugly? What?
Jay today is thriving. She's going to college, she's in a sorority, she stands up for herself a lot more than she used to. So I think her confidence has grown, her independence is growing, her zest for life is growing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the future, my path is already laid out. The little things I do every day are gonna, adjust it here and there. But I really just want something more than the regular. What I do want to do is kind of make a name for myself. So I'd like to work on my book and maybe do a podcast and get myself a little bit more out there. Since I went blind, I went from being a busybody, but now I'm just more focused on myself and getting through life, because I think there's more to life than just having a 9-to-5 and working until we die. I think there's a little bit more fulfillment in life that needs to be recognized. We were filming in the kitchen, and I was like, "Hi MTV, welcome to my crib."